negotiate a contract which is adversarial by nature. Doesn't have to be negative or nasty, but it's adversarial. And we have found that when we can work with the candidate saying, you know, what are your needs? And with the board, tell us about the realities here, the political realities and such, and then bring those interests together. Because you certainly want to, and it's just a whole different way of beginning that relationship. So we'll bring you that information.
We should do this more like professional athletes, where we just buy out their old contract, and then at the end of the year, anyway, that's a different story. Okay, any other questions or comments on the calendar?
One other answer is that we will take your comparison districts and acquire the actual existing contracts of those superintendents and do a spreadsheet for you. So you will know it is actually real and true that this is the compensation in your competitive or comparison districts. And you'll know exactly all forms of compensation because it'll all be laid out for you. And it's much easier for a board when you have the data to make the decisions than what you're just being told whimsically.
How do you get that information? Because no one ever seems to be able to get that correct information. Because I mean, it's like the county, I mean, nobody seems to put in extra stuff that the superintendents get at different districts, or people hide it different ways. How do you ever...
We get
the actual contracts and I analyze them.
So you do the analysis.
I
You
do
don't
it.
call the county. And
No,
the
I
county
don't
says,
call, I
"Oh,
call the
that."
district. Say, I would like this contract. And I may call the district a dozen times, but I keep calling.
We had a couple from last year.
Yeah, we do, but I mean, it's never...
It's hard. They often don't want to give them out.
They don't want to give them out, but it's a public record, and I know there have been occasions when after a lot of frustration, that I do say, you know, I think I'll call the local newspaper, and they can get it. And they quickly give it up.
Yeah,
But
you have to remember though, our newspaper, no offense, but if there's 6, like they just reported, 6 unified school districts, our superintendent is the 3rd highest paid. He's not in the middle, he's the 3rd highest paid.
no, I'm saying that
No.
I'm not calling your newspaper. I'm calling the newspaper or threatening to do it. We do get those.
We always get them, but it takes a lot of work.
We don't want to rely on the superintendent or
Okay.
staff telling us
So
what they want to tell us.
that actually brings up another kind of interviewing and process question. Do you get the salary information for the candidates as well, or is that
Sure.
not on the table?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I guess we come up with the assumption that we want to have the superintendent's salary within the districts that we look at. What I'm thinking is perhaps it's not a superintendent. Perhaps it's a little small district where they earned $160,000 a year. Do we bump them up to whatever's the average within Santa Clara County?
That's up to you.
Based upon that. You know, I mean, I don't want to set us up to being at the top necessarily if we're looking at somebody that's not
That's
a
all.
superintendent that could be an assistant
your-
that hasn't been paid or whatever, so that becomes.
That's your call.
Asking them to come down.
When we get to that point, that's your call.
Right, but I'm just, yeah, okay. I just
In the
want-
application, it will say salary. And you will then be able to look at that, and you'll be able to look at the study, and you'll be able to give us direction based on data.
Okay.
I mean, ideally, we can get a good value and the person can get an
Right.
increase and
Right.
it'll all work out.
Right.
So, but
Right.
you're right, we don't have to automatically jump up to some arbitrary number.
That's what I'm trying to
That's what
establish
negotiation
that.
is about.
Right.
Okay. So